So, hey guys, sorry that I look such a mess this morning, but as you can see, the video is titled, What's Wrong with Kimora? And quite frankly, I'm not sure yet. And sorry that I'm talking like this. I'm trying to whisper. She's actually asleep in her playpen. But if you follow me here on YouTube, then you do know that I've mentioned to you guys before that since Kimora's been 3 months old, she has night terrors. Now, what I mean by night terror is in the middle of her sleep, she will wake up screaming and crying. Actually not wake up because it's in her sleep. So she will cry or scream in her sleep for about 5 to 10 minutes, and she's inconsolable. She does not know that anyone's there, doesn't know anyone, her surroundings or anything like that. It's very scary. Probably more for the people who experience it than it is for her, people who get to see it, I mean. But they normally last anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. And yeah, the scream is just like, it's an out-of-body cry. Like, it's not like a I'm hungry, I'm wet, I'm tired cry. It's like, it's a very distinct type of cry. If you've ever heard anyone talk in their sleep, it kind of sounds, you know how you sound funny when you talk in your sleep? It's a cry like that. It sounds funny, but it's very loud at the same time, because she screams and she shrieks. And so anyway, we were told multiple times by doctors in Delaware and her pediatrician down here in Philadelphia that it was fairly common and fairly normal, that it was just something we would have to learn to deal with, and she would eventually grow out of it. As far as treatment goes, they told us that the best thing to do is not to wake her up when she's having one of these night terrors, just to comfort her and let her know that we're there, and eventually, she will finish having her night terror and fall back into a deep sleep, which is very true. That is exactly what happens, but as a parent, it's hard to not wake her up because you want to make sure that she's okay. They say not to wake her up because it can interrupt her sleep patterns and make the issue even worse. To make a long story short, Kimora actually hadn't had a night terror in about 2 months, so me and Keith were under the assumption that maybe she was growing out of them, that they were going away. At her last night terror, normally her night terrors, she just cries or screams. Her body is very relaxed because she's in a sleeping state. But during her last night terror 2 months ago, she actually was screaming so hard, and I guess she was so afraid of whatever it is that she was vomiting. The doctor, once again, said that was fairly common, fairly normal. Sometimes babies get so scared during a night terror that they cause themselves to vomit. I looked it up online, I Googled, I did my research, and, the descriptions that I see in writings online, as well as just the night terrors with vomiting as well, match Kimora completely, and everybody made it seem fairly common, fairly normal, that they'll eventually grow out of it. Unfortunately, last week, after 2 months of not having one, she had one on Wednesday night. Me and Keith were downstairs. All of a sudden, I heard a scream. So we started running upstairs, and then she started, having that cry. So I knew she was having a night terror. So I went and picked her up, and I sat in my rocking chair. I was just going to, call her name and rock her until she fell back into a deep sleep. And then she started to vomit everywhere. And I mean, like, an enormous amount of vomit. Like, my shirt, I had on a tank top, it was soaked. So I said, okay, so she's doing the vomiting again. But then on top of the vomiting, there was another new symptom, I guess I'll call it. And this was that normally her body's very relaxed. This time, her arms and her legs were locking up. And when she finally did finish the night terror, which lasted about 5 minutes this time, she was kind of shaky. She still didn't wake up, but she was like kind of wobbly and like shaky. And both me and Keith noticed that. So I became extremely upset. I was hysterical crying, because I'm just tired of not knowing what's wrong with her. So I called out of work the next morning, and I called her doctor's office, and they told me to bring her in right away. So, they asked me some questions, and they said that, they said that, everything I'm telling them still seems fairly calm and fairly normal as far as night terrors goes, except for the fact that her arms and her legs were locking up. So then me and the doctor began discussing night terror versus seizure, and so I asked for some tests to be ran to make sure that she was okay and that she was not having seizures. So what they told me was that they wanted Kimora to go under observation for a 48-hour EEG. If you don't know what an EEG is, it's basically, if you've ever seen anybody who has all those little wires like stuck to their head, it's that, they read your, I guess, brain patterns. So she's doing a 48-hour EEG now, and today is October 26th, and it is a Wednesday as well. So a week later after she had the night terror, we are now doing the testing. Hopefully she will have a night terror either today or tomorrow while she's under observation. Most likely she won't though, but we're hoping for the worst/best, because we don't want her to have one, but at the same time we do want her to have one so that it can be recorded and we can figure out what's actually going on. If she does not have one, there's two options. They either said she can do a neurology appointment or that she can do a sleep study at the hospital, which I'm not sure which one will be best, just because of me and Keith's work schedules. I'm staying home from work today. He'll be off of work tomorrow with her. I'll be off on Friday to take her back to the hospital. So there's just a bunch that goes into it. But I apologize. I'm sounding kind of nasally. I sound sick. But yeah, so that's what's going on, guys. And, as much as I'm telling you is as much as I know. And it's very scary just not to know what's wrong with your child. And even though people tell you, oh, that's common, it happens all the time, they'll grow out of it, nothing's wrong, it's just something that happens. Unless you're absolutely sure, I want tests done. I want to know what's going on. And, they told me if it does come back that she's having seizures, that once again, there's not much that I can do about it. That she would just have to grow out of them. But at least I would know. I would feel better knowing what's wrong with her or what's causing this, because sometimes it seems like she's in pain while she's going through these night terrors, and I would hate for my child to be in pain and for me to just be sitting back saying, oh, she's fine, she'll grow out of it eventually. It's just not something I can sit back and do. As well as I wanted many different opinions. So far, all of the doctor's opinions have been kind of the same as, oh, it's probably just a night terror, it's normal. But this is the first pediatrician that's actually said okay to me wanting some tests to be ran. So I will definitely update you guys when we get the results back of her EEG and see what they say as far as her brain patterns and all that good stuff, and if anything is wrong. In the meantime, I will go take a peek over here at her and her playpen so that you guys can see her. She actually does have her EEG machine on, so it's going to look fairly, I don't want to say scary, but it looks more serious probably than it is. What they did was I had to take her into the hospital this morning. I had to wash her hair, no shampoo, no hair products, just natural hair. And they actually glued the EEG readers onto her scalp with a safe glue for children, of course. And then she had to have her head wrapped in gauze to keep all the wires underneath. She also has a battery pack, which is the actual machine reader. It's like a backpack type thing, and it's on her back. And if she has a night terror, I have to press the button so that it records it. And I also have to write down all of her activities, such as when she sleeps, when she eats, if she takes medicine, if she plays, so that they can know at what time in the day where she's doing these activities. So in case they see anything strange on the monitor when they go to read it, they'll know that it wasn't a night terror, that she was either just sleeping or, eating or whatever it may have you. So let me go show her to you guys, and thanks for watching, you guys. Wish us the best. Pray for us. We hope nothing's wrong. But when in doubt, find out. Get second opinions and get tested. Well, not tested, screened, observation. I don't know what you want to call it, but, always find out, especially when it has to do with your kids. So here we go. I'll show you guys what she looks like right now. So as you can see, her head's just wrapped up. can see the wires. It's her battery pack.